Hi, I'm Roxanne.
And I'm Blake, and this is CHOW Tour Austin.
Whole Animal Butchery is having a revival in Austin, thanks to the boom in local meat production and chefs wanting to preserve old ways of preparing it.
We went to 3 businesses and checked out their takes on sausage and salumi making and meat curing.
To kind of make things traditionally and carry on a lot of these recipes is important because in our modern day, these things could potentially be lost if we don't keep eating them.
This is Jesse Griffiths, the chef and co-owner of Dido, a farmer's market stand selling handmade sausages and charcuterie. We met up with him at his kitchen space.
Bring in either a whole or a half every week, kind of depending on how busy we are. Hogs are very generous animals. You tend to get a very high yield off of them. I mean, off of a half of a pig, we're probably throwing away a cup, if that, of glands. Most of the hogs goes to sausage. We're selling 150 pounds of sausage every week.
Their country-style breakfast sausage is one of the most popular.
We like to season our sausage before it's ground. It really gets into the meat and helps it disperse better. And then I'm going to come in and add grade B organic maple syrup. I consider it to be better than grade A. It's not as sweet. It has more of a mineral flavor, and it also helps it brown in the pan.
Jesse fries up the breakfast sausages every Saturday at the farmer's market and serves them with biscuits and gravy.
The sausage patty was sweet from the maple with a little hint of sage.
For our next stop, we drove to a small town outside of Austin to meet up with Ben Runkle, the founder of Salt and Thyme, at his production facility.
To our knowledge, we're the only people doing traditional dry-cured meats in Texas. There are restaurants that do it, but nobody who does it and then sells it to people to be able to take home and eat. A lot of people have asked us, what is salumi, or did you misspell salami? But beyond that, the reception's been fantastic. We buy whole pigs from local farmers and we break them down.
This is Brian Butler, the butcher at Salt and Thyme.
We use a system called seam butchery, which is actually a European technique. We try to preserve that entire muscle group as a whole. There's a lot of qualities there you get, especially with dry curing. You have a nice protective layer on it. It dries out better. And you also get to utilize most of the pig for dry curing.
We also make a variety of fresh sausages, including hot dogs. The hot dog and bologna have really given emulsified sausages a bad name because everybody thinks of them as cheap junk. But in reality, they're some of the most labor-intensive and require the most skill of any kinds of sausage that you can get. And when done really well, they can be so tasty and awesome. When I think about what I want in meat, cheap is not anywhere on my list. If we can make things affordable, that's great, but we want to put a ton of care and effort into everything that we make.
Last we went to the Noble Pig, where John Bates and Brandon Martinez happily run a deli the hard way.
We thought that it would be great to take something like the deli and just kind of breathe some fresh life into style food that has gotten used to getting their sliced meats and their bread out of the box.
90% of the menu that we have on this board is made here in-house, from the pickles to the sausages to the bread.
If we can make it in-house, we're going to do it. The only thing we don't want to mess around is trying to fry enough potatoes to make chips for 200 people a day. That's more than we want to do.
Their duck pastrami sandwich really caught our eye. To make it, they start by deboning an entire duck.
Come down through the backbone. This allows us to really get a nice roll on the duck. We could come in through the breast side, but the results aren't quite the same. The key flavors on pastrami are coriander, allspice. A little bit of sugar is nice in there, and then the smoke is crucial. We don't add any pink salt or tinted curing salt to hold the color, so when it's done and it comes out, it's not this beautiful rosy red. It's got a deep, rich brown color to it. These are our rye pickles that we cure with the same spices you would find in your typical loaf of rye bread. We take a really simple approach to most of our sandwiches. We try not to add a bunch of extra ingredients, so you won't have flavorless shredded iceberg lettuce on there. We pick the ingredients because we think it makes the sandwich taste good.
Even though there were only 3 things on the sandwich, it was still really flavorful. The duck was subtly smoky, with a hint of coriander and allspice coming through.
And the rye pickles really tied it together. They were thin sliced, but still super crispy. It was a really good and thoughtful riff on the Reuben sandwich.
In the next episode,
what do a trailer, a roadside restaurant, and bowling alley have in common? Some of the best Mexican food in Austin.